So pretty much still, I have to share my screen now. Okay. So, meeting. It's gonna take a little bit of time. And get stopped. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, can you see my screen?
No, not really. It's blank.
It's blank?
Yeah, for me it's blank. I don't know for everyone else.
Okay. Can you see now?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. So first step.
Yeah, it's good now, I think.
Okay. So this is sanitary inspection forms. I think I'll give the floor to Madam Gina. Madam Gina, you can see the screen, right? We are going to be learning how to fill these forms and what you need to put inside and how to analyze your community water source or maybe environment where we have water. I don't know. Madam Gina is having issues with connections. I don't know. Pretty much. It's kind of tricky. Africa is tricky. Oh God, I don't know how to do this. So let me just give a roll up of what we are going to do. So these forms, we are going to use them to work in our various communities, into your locality after this practice session. So you're going to go to your different communities and do some inspections and fill out these forms. So you might have maybe just in your house or maybe your room or your home around your residence, you might look up some 1 or 2 homes and carry out this work. If you don't have a particular stream or maybe a spring or maybe a large river, which you can carry out this assessment, it's left on you. Maybe you don't have a dug well or maybe a borehole around you, but you just need to do something. And most commonly, you can do it around your community. You might meet 1 or 2 houses, print this form out for the household water storage container. You want to do some inspections. You can walk to 2, 3 houses and do this practice. And tomorrow in the evening, we are going to have a panel of discussion on your experience and what you discovered. And you tell us what are your experiences. This is just about this session. So, and we'll have some detailed practice. I don't know about Madam Gina. Madam Gina, are you here, please? If you're here, you can start explaining this form. This is the first form and the general ideas.
Hello.
Yep. So
Good evening, everyone. So I'll be treating the topic how to analyze risks of water contamination using the sanitary inspection form. So we'll start by defining sanitary inspection. And sanitary inspections are short, standardized observation checklists that can be adapted and used by stakeholders to access risk factor at or near sanitation facilities and identify appropriate actions to safeguard public health. Are we there?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, carry on.
Okay, sorry for the poor network. Okay, so with me here, we have the sanitary inspection form. The sanitary inspection form actually gives you, is a form that is suited for a particular project being carried out. So this form helps you to be able to access your project area or your research area, and to be able to know if what is going on there, if there's the risks of a particular project. So with me here, we have the sanitary inspection form, and with the Ecolab sanitary inspection form, we are able to carry out inspection on household water in storage containers. You can also carry out inspection for an open duct well, for protected springs, and for surface water, not forgetting about household pipe water. So we'll start with the first, which is the household water storage container. The first part of this form gives you the general information, like the household, source of water, village, town, water sampling taken, date of visitation, and the sample ID. So for instance, if I'm carrying out a sanitary inspection in a particular household, the first thing I will make sure I do is that I actually take the name of that household. That means the family, maybe the family name or a name that suits that household. And secondly, of water which I'm sampling. And for the source of water we are sampling here is the household water. And this household water, where is it coming from? Did they carry it from is it collected from a spring or a water tank? You need to fill that information there, so that you have detailed from here you have detailed information about everything concerning that water. Then the C is the village or town. So for instance, if maybe I'm carrying this sampling in Moliko, then there I will definitely write Moliko. D, you have the water sample taken. So our water sampling here is the household storage container. So we write household water storage container. You can actually just put it in and put the initial, since it's long and the space is small. Then you have the sample ID. So this, since we are is Ecolab that is carrying out this sampling, we actually put the initials of our project, which is actually Ecolab water project. That's EWP. The date this sampling was carried out. So for instance, if we are carrying out the sampling today, then it should be the 4th of November 2022. And you don't write the letters, you just write the date in figures. And which type of sampling are we carrying, of inspection are we carrying out? For instance, is it a chemical, a physical, a biological? If it's a chemical, for example, you then write CH, you just abbreviate CH, then slash now the identity of the person carrying out that sampling. If I'm the one carrying the sampling, then I'll just put my initials, RON, which stands for Regina Ken. Okay. The part 2 of this form now talks about the risk assessment. So this risk assessment now actually gives you detail. From here, you'll be able to analyze and know if this water source is risky.
Sorry,
The risks that are found there
can
are
I
there.
interrupt you a bit to highlight something on this sample ID?
Okay.
Yeah, she said
Okay,
already it's
sir.
good EWP, but I want to stress the fact on the aspect of the date. The date has no other maybe signature like hyphens or maybe slash. There is nothing. So you just go to write like if it's 04 06 21. So 04 is the date, the particular day, 06 is the month, and 21 is the year, which is for 2021. And then if you're talking about CH, we have CH, PH, and we have the last one, BL, which is for biological. So this BL, PH, and CH means that it is for the analysis, because remember, for our analysis of water quality, we have physical parameters, we have chemical parameters, and microbiological. So this is what you need to know. So those hyphen means that we are taking this sample to the laboratory for analysis, and we must know that this sample is for this particular test that we are going to be conducting in the lab. That is why you have this sample ID in that range, and then you're going to have hyphens, the initial of the name of the person, like she said. So that's just it. Okay, you can continue. Okay.
Okay. So with the part 2 of this form, we talk about the risk assessment. Here it is written that tick the most appropriate answer. A, yes. A, yes answer means that there is a potential risk, and a no answer means that there is a very low risk. See explanation on reverse. So actually this form, this part B, this is where you actually do the real work to be able to, you carry out observation and inspect your water source to know what is going on, and it's from here that you'll be able to give a conclusion about that water source. For instance, we have question 1, which says, is the container used for storing any other liquid or material? For instance, it can be a container that was first used previously. Maybe they bought groundnut oil from the container and later on washed and used as the water collecting container. So if this container has used to be, other liquids used to be stored inside, your answer would definitely be yes. Question 2 says, is the container kept at ground level? If the container is at ground level, that means not on a stand or somewhere that is safe up. You actually tick yes. 3, is the container lid or cover missing or not in place? If the container is not covered, you actually tick yes. But if it's covered, well covered, then you tick no. Question 4 says, is the container cracked, leaking, or dirty? The container itself might not be cracked, but maybe the lid of the container is cracked. Then you will definitely tick yes, because if it's cracked, it means dirt can still percolate inside. 5 says, is the area around the container dirty? Normally, if the area around the container is dirty, it means there's high possibility of dirt getting to that water someday.
Yeah.
Okay, so you tick yes. If no, if not, if the area is clean, then you tick no. Then question 6 says, do animals have access to the area around the container? Normally in a household, when they talk of animals here, it will definitely be talking of maybe pets like dog, cats. You can even have cases of rats maybe coming close to the container. So if that's the case, you tick yes. Is the tap or utensil, e.g. cup, ladle, used to draw water from the container dirty? If it's a big container, then you can turn now of the fact that maybe the cup, maybe children even come around and they make the cup to fall down and keep it back, and adults come and take that same cup to get water from that container, and that's already a means of contamination. So you definitely be yes. Is the water from the container also used for washing or bathing? If it's used for washing or bathing, it means someone can actually come there and use a bathing bucket close and water leak maybe from the bathing bucket inside the container. So if that's the case, then you tick yes. Has there been a disruption in the water supply in the last 10 days? So if that's the case, if there's a disruption, like water has not been there for maybe the last 10 days, or water has been stored in the container for more than 10 days, meanwhile it's for use, then you tick yes, because if there's little amount of water or water has not been refilled, it means that water there has stayed for long and there's a possibility for it to be contaminated. Has there, okay, question 10 says, does the stored water come from more than one source? For instance, the container can actually be for consumption, that's for drinking water, but because you have maybe children around, and maybe there's a spring that is also drinkable, and you have tap water, a kid might carry from the spring and you think it's from the tap and you put. So the level, you can actually have contamination from the spring thinking that it's tap water. So if it's from different source, maybe you carry some from the tap and some from the spring, then you actually tick yes. We come now to the risk contamination. This here stands for high risk. It means there's risk, there's possible risk, and no stands for little or no risk. So the part 3 now talks of the results and comments. From your above answers, because when you are ticking, you tick on the right word. If it's a yes, then you tick on the yes. If it's a no, you tick on the no. So if from your above answers now, you realize that the number of yes you have is from 9 and 10, it means the risk of contamination is very high, and definitely that water is not good for consumption. Okay. And if your risk is between 6 and 8, it means the rate of contamination too is also high. If your risk ranges from 3 to 5, it means the rate of contamination is medium. It's a medium contamination, but it's still advisable not to use that water. Then if your risk now is between 0 and 2, it means the contamination risk is low, and this water can be used, it can be used for the purpose from which it was carried from. And following this week, the part B now of this part 3 talks says following risks were observed. So when you, for instance, if you realize now that your risks, the rate of contamination falls between 9 and 10, you need to give now an observation. And this observation you are giving is according to what you've seen up there. So if I was, for instance, I was supposed to give an observation from a result that shows 9 and 10, what I'll probably say is that from the above result, it shows that this water is the rate of contamination is very high. And as a result, this water is not good for consumption, or maybe for usage, that's in cooking. So I'll give that would be my observation. And if, for instance, I had just 2 years or maybe 1 year to show that the hygienic condition of that area was clean, then I'll actually say that though we had just 1 year or 2 years, it means the rate of contamination here is low, and as a consequence, this water can be used for consumption or for other purposes. Okay. We go to the part 4. Part 4 talks of the name and signature of inspector. So on this form now, you should not forget that on the sampling ID, we go just the initials of the person carrying out the sampling. But down here now, what we do is that you write the full name of the inspector carrying out the sampling, and the person needs to sign. So we go to the second. Hello. Okay. So okay, we move to the second, which talks of sampling an open duct well. For an open duct well, the general information are still the same. The only thing here that changes is the people. Here you have the people served. So this water from this well, because normally most at times you realize that water from well is not just used by one household. Maybe you have several people collecting water from that well. So here you can list them, the people to whom this water serves. Then the location is same, the village or town. The people served, here you write the number of people that carry water from this well. Hello, sir.
Yeah, I guess it's okay. It's good.
Okay. Then water sample taking. The water sample taking here will obviously an open duct well. The sample ID remains the same. Then here you come to the date of visitation. The date of visitation, if it was still today, will still be the 4th of November 2022. as the case of the household container, it same goes here. The only thing that varies is the questions. And for instance, question 1 says, is there a latrine within 10 meters of the well? Normally, since it's a well, it means water percolates within the ground and penetrate inside. So if there's a latrine that is located within 10 meters, it means even if maybe in 2 years' time, that well is not contaminated, if you give that well, let's say 10 to 15 years' time, that water can percolate one day and finally reach the well. And that well, the well that was known for being not contaminated, might become contaminated one day. And if it's a yes, then you tick to show that there's a risk since the latrine is found within 10 meters of the well. Question 2 says, is there a latrine or other source of fecal contamination uphill of the well? So this one now is different from this because, for instance, the latrine can still be located maybe 20 meters away from the well, and it is on a hilltop. Normally, we know water flows from it follows the force of gravity, which means it will definitely leave from up and goes down. So if your well is located downhill and your latrine is uphill, it means the rate at which this well can be contaminated is very high, because water will definitely even runoffs can wash um, um, feces from this latrine and easily deposit it in the well, since the well is located downhill. So if that is the case, you definitely tick yes. Question 3 says, is there any source of other contamination within 10 meters of the well? So for instance, you have animals, there might be a pig fence around, you have agriculture. For agriculture now, you talk now about the fact that maybe they can cultivate food crops, and maybe the farmers use organic and inorganic fertilizers. And if they are close to the well, it means rain water will actually wash them and leach them in the well. You have roads, industry. For roads, you can talk about air pollution, and these air particles like dust can actually fall and penetrate the well. You talk about industry. So if this is the case, you also tick yes. Is the drainage absent or faulty around the water to pool within 2 meters of the well? So this one is talking now about a drainage. Is this well having a drainage where water can actually pass? Like for instance, you talk of runoffs. If normally, even if it's a level surface, but you have situations where rainfall and it stands there without, due to the fact that there's no drainage, that water can still percolate and enter the well. So if that is the case, you also tick yes. Is the drainage absent or faulty, following water to pool within 2 meters of the well? So you can see how the drainage which is actually faulty. Maybe you have a crack in the drainage, so water, the runoff still percolate and enter the well. If that's the case, you tick yes. Is the drainage channel absent or cracked, broken, or in need of cleaning? Is the drainage channel dirty? Is it cracked? Is it broken? When you see all of this, it shows that there's high risk of this water becoming contaminated. Is the wall around the top cover, around the top of the well inadequate, allowing surface water to enter the well? So if it's a case that the lid that was made for the well is not fitting enough, and water still leaves, like for instance, rainwater can leave and enter the well, it means there's high risk of this water becoming contaminated and not good for consumption. 7 says, is the well apron less than 2 meters in diameter? So this well apron now talks of the fact that this well, maybe the well was constructed, and when they were doing the construction, there's not put enough, the distance from the well upward, maybe there's not mold enough block and is limited, so the well is actually low. It means water water can see maybe rainwater can fall and see drops inside the well. And questions 8 says, are the walls of the well inadequately sealed at any point from 3 meters below the ground? Normally, when wells are constructed, what they usually do for recently, what they have realized is that wells are constructed and they make sure that the inside within the well perimeter is being cement to prevent surface water, because normally within the ground you still have surface water still from 1 meter, that's from the surface to 3 meter. So water can still, you can still feel like maybe there's good drainage, but this water that is coming actually penetrates the soil and still enters the well. The water that is coming from 1 to 3 meter is actually still runoff and is very contaminated. So if your well the wall has not sealed, it means that your well and runoff to then runoff what. So it's a yes. 9 is the wall upon cracked or damaged. So this barrier that was built up, is it? If yes, then water can still enter the well. 10 says, are the rope and buckets left in such a position that they may be contaminated? For instance, you carry your, after getting your water from the well, you leave your bucket on top of the well, and maybe the well is not well secured. Children can come there and contaminate it with their dirty hands. You have a case where people, it can even fall down and they pick it, somebody picks it and carries, all the like. Even animals can come close to the bucket. So if that's the case, then it's a yes. Number 11 says, is the fence around the well inadequate? Normally, for a modern well, it shows that fences are supposed to be built around the well to prevent animals, to prevent even children from coming close to the well and contaminating it. So if there is actually no fence around the well, it means there's high rate of it being contaminated. So same goes for the open duct well. We actually just assess the risks too, and like we said for the first form, same will be done here. If it's medium, you give an observation. This water can be used, but it still has some risks that can be faced. And if it's medium, it means that as time goes by, maybe like they talk about the crack of the well and all the like, time goes by, this risk might increase. And as the risk increase, it definitely changes from the medium to the high and so on.
Good. So you can go on to
Okay.
the next one, and I think this is an example form, as she says. You can see this is an example of a well, which is, you can see some animals and you can see different part of the questions which were being set up. For the different questions, you have the numbers there, 1, 2, 3 to 11. These are the fence you're seeing about. This is the tool diameter, like 2 meters, plus this is the standing water, the fourth question. So from this printout, you'll be able to understand the various questions they're asking. Question 7, question 9, you see a little crack on the wall. And you see the bucket. Question 10, look at how it's been hung around this wall, closer to the wall. So it is bad. This is contamination, closer to this point. These are animals. I think so we can go to protected spring.
Okay. For protected spring, you have the same, like the open duct well. People serve, because normally a spring will not just be for one household. A spring will definitely be for a community. So you can actually, the people serve here, for instance, if it's the My 16 community, then you write there My 16 community. This spring is used by the people of My 16. Then your sampling ID here will be the same. You have date of visit the same, village or town. Spring location is the same like the former. So for the risk assessment here, the questions go the questions go as follows.
Okay,
You
we have
have
7
one.
minutes, so I think we'll reconnect and finish up probably. So we should
Okay.
reconnect and continue the form so we could have time for questions and answers and how to go about the exercise. Okay. So let's reconnect. Okay. Mhm. Insights,